From the Wayne County Courthouse in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Wayne Goldsboro Television brings you the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. The meeting begins shortly with an agenda briefing, then the regular meeting will begin soon after. Please stand by for the Wayne County Board of Commissioners meeting.
We've got a slight delay. Marcia's trying to get one of the screens up. We'll get started in just a minute. Invocation. Okay. Mr. Mayor, are you going to do the pledge? Yes, sir. Okay. Approval of the minutes for the October 20th meeting. Has anyone found anything that's incorrect or any changes on them? We'll act on that at the regular meeting. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda, Mr. Wood?
Yes, sir. We want to add a finance report by Ms. Holt, and I would just put that under new business.
New business?
Yes, sir. This will be the quarterly finance report she gives you.
Ms. Holt will take care of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other adjustments?
I think that's it. We will need a closed session for 3 items.
Okay.
And so that'll be a fairly lengthy closed session. So if we finish early on this, if we could go ahead and start on that before the 9 o'clock, that would be helpful.
Okay. Anyone else have any adjustments to the agenda? Any of the board members? Okay. Unfinished business. Motion to approve the Golden Leaf Foundation community-based grants marked with an incentive letter of inquiry recommendations. Mr. Wood, if you would.
Okay. You've got a fairly detailed memo starting on page 63. As y'all know, we're on a short time frame on this, so the decision does need to be made today because we have to have the cover letter and these proposals up to whatever you decide on have to be at Golden Leaf this Friday at 5 o'clock. So I'll be preparing the cover letter this afternoon, have everything ready, and we'll ship it off to them tomorrow. But essentially, I've given you the background on it. There are 8 regions in the state. They divvy them up that way, and 2 of the 8 regions are eligible for these grants of up to $1.5 million every 4 years. You can have up to 3 separate projects for this $1.5 million. And this year is our turn. We're in the southeast region. They're highly competitive, so we need to select solid projects. I just want to remind you there's no guarantee because we submit $1.5 million of projects that we will get the full amount. The emphasis is on promoting economic development, and the grants are limited to projects that address these 6 areas: economic development, education, workforce development, infrastructure, healthcare infrastructure, and agriculture. And it says in the information that a 20% cash match would help each project to be competitive. The process has been that any interested 501c3 nonprofit or governmental agencies are eligible. They submit a letter of interest in a format set out by Golden Leaf to the county manager. The county manager is then to forward those to Golden Leaf by November 6th. And what we're doing, of course, is I'm not submitting anything that you haven't approved. So the purpose of this, if you remember, we set a deadline, I think, of October 23rd, got those in, and we have 3 applications. The first is from the Reverend Dr. Ira Reynolds of First Missionary Baptist Church of Fremont and the town of Fremont. He's doing housing rehabilitation, and the request is for $31,169. And he's going under the heading of economic development because housing is not one of those 6 areas that they're, that they're emphasizing. But he's his argument is that this would be economic development. The second request is from Dr. Michael Dunsmore, Superintendent of the Wayne County Public School System. His request is to help fund the system's new information technology plan. He shows a 5-year plan, but is only asking for partial funding of $750,000. Note that the new equipment will qualify for reimbursement under the E-rate for internet services. And what that is, that's a federal program where they get a reduced rate by law that schools are eligible for. So what he's saying is that the savings on the E-rate, once he puts in this new equipment in all 7 middle schools, can be used to pay for other phases of the IT plan, which would result also in more E-rate savings. So he's kind of using it as a springboard to get all of that in place. The third request is from Dr. Kay Albertson, President of Wayne Community College. It's for $750,000 for the Advanced Manufacturing Center for the welding component, but it's primarily to buy the welding booths and tables and some funds for facility upgrades. And again, in the back of this, I have each one of the applications for you so that you can read in detail what they are. Again, the total limit is $1.5 million for up to 3 projects. Therefore, it appears to me that you have 2 options. One, you can fund all 3, but if you do that, that means either the schools or college request or both would need to be reduced by the $31,169 needed to accommodate the church request, because we have $1,531,169 of request. The other option you have is that you fund the 2 requests from the schools and the college, which total $1.5 million, and not fund the church request. And so, as I said before, we'll need to make that decision today because we've only got 3 business days to finish it up and get it submitted to them. And my plan is to have everything ready to where Cindy can get it off to them tomorrow.
Okay, good. You don't have to answer it now, but do you have a recommendation or just going to be a board decision?
I think it's a board decision. They're all 3 viable projects. I do think and I said this to Reverend Reynolds and also to Barbara Aycock, the Fremont Town Manager. His request really is more towards a CDBG grant. And I suggested that they get with David Harris. As y'all know, Dave does our CDBG grants. And if you get a CDBG grant, you can use some of the money from the grant to pay his expenses to write the grant and administer it. And I do know that they have met with him. Now, I don't know what the outcome of that was. They have still kept their application in place here. The other 2 clearly meet 2 very strong components. One is economic development, the other is workforce development, because the Advanced Manufacturing Center clearly is workforce development. Technology in the schools is both education and workforce development. So, and again, what Dr. Dunsmore wants to do is, we have 7 middle schools and 7 high schools, and he wants to put the technology in both of those, but he's stair-stepping it because of the money. If you saw his application, it's going to take a little over $2 million. A lot of this is to get the buildings ready for technology, either with a hard, fiber optic connection or wireless, depending on where they're at and what's near them. So this is really, a lot of it is the internal stuff on the buildings themselves. So what he's planning on doing is doing all the middle schools first. And then as those kids get used to that technology before they get in high school, ideally, we'd have the high schools done as well. And that's his plan going forward.
Okay, well, and we have really 2 or 3 options. If the board feels like that Dr. Reynolds is worthy, or if it comes through, you said that either the college or the school system would have to come up short.
Mm-hmm.
My suggestion is, if that's the case, take half from the college and half from the school. Right. Or you could, another option would be There's 3 applied. Divide that 31,000 by 3 and let the college pay a third, school system a third, and Mr. Reynolds a third. I mean, you see where I'm going?
Yeah, you're saying you could cut his back some.
You know, I'm not saying cut it back now,
Right.
I'm not
But
saying
that
cut
is
it back, but that's just an option.
That is an option. And I did not make a formal recommendation on this because this is really, you know, I've given you all 3, and it's really a judgment call on your part at this point, what you want to do with it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Tate.
since you went to the Golden Leaf meeting, you know, we got 3 things that, you know, we could possibly send. If they saw that as a CBGD thing, as opposed to meeting their criteria, could
They just
would it impact our whole recommendation we sent to them?
No, what
Or
would
they
happen?
could strip out our fund one or two?
Is they, if they like a project, they send to those people that have given them the letter of inquiry an invitation to come meet with their board and to go into more detail and make a formal presentation. And so they're under consideration. If they don't do that, then they've basically kicked your project out.
Just the one?
Just the one,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I just want to make
You
sure it didn't impact
You submit
3.
3, and we may only get 1 of them,
Okay.
you know.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chairman.
That's why I said in bold type is there's no guarantee that because we select one, that it'll make it.
I just wanted to be clear on that. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Mr. Camardi.
I took the time last night to read
Yeah.
very thoroughly, and I was not that familiar with that church until I went on Facebook and looked at the people and realized that I was more familiar with. The thing that's encouraging about this is that from an economic development standpoint, I'm almost thinking that this, and I'm looking at the fact that the total project is like $690-some thousand, and that $31,000 is their part, so they're getting some money from somewhere else, or plan to. And so, in talking about rehabbing that number of houses, that's gonna create some economic development, because it's gonna be money changing hands. And the reason that this project appealed to me is that it's a carpentry-based project, and CBACOC has a carpentry program with students coming out of it. If I was up there doing that, and I'm gonna suggest this to the powers to be, that those students be involved in that, which is a twofold thing. He's talking about upgrading the poverty and so forth and so on. When I read through it, I just saw it was a recipe for involvement. And so I just had not read it thoroughly until last night and see what.
Right.
So I think it's an encouraging opportunity, especially since it will not hurt the other projects
Yeah.
if they didn't.
Well,
Go ahead.
do we need to just, we don't know which ones is gonna be approved. I mean, are we putting the cart before the horse?
No, the problem is, this is the process they've laid out, is that you're supposed to select them. Actually, under their rules, I'm just supposed to submit them. I'm not submitting $1.5 million of stuff you guys haven't approved. You know, to me, that's your call. But that's how they've set the process up, and so you apply for these, but you don't know, you know, you look at their criteria, you try to match it up. We are, now Dr. Dunsmore has the 20% match, and Dr. Albertson will also have 20% match because they're using other funds to match that. And that helps make them more competitive. In other words, they want to see that you've got skin in the game. Well, in those 2 cases, obviously we do, because, you know, we're all helping fund them. But it's really your call as to what you do. Let me address one thing that Ed said. The reason that I'm talking about that from a community development standpoint is, in one of the cities I was in, we got a CDBG grant for about $250,000. And now this is several years back, so the money was worth more. But what the project was there is that we could build 4 houses. These were not rehab, but they were built, and they were along the lines of a Habitat house. And ultimately, that's what we did, is we partnered with Habitat for Humanity. The city also got a second CDBG grant to go in and actually develop the subdivision. So we took a poor rundown area. We cleared out a lot of problem areas, came in with new infrastructure with the first grant. The second grant, the $250,000, we were able to build up to 4 houses, and that was the idea. And then as we sold those, the city got to keep that money. So we had seed money to then do another 4 and another 4. The subdivision was 25 lots. And by the time I left, we were up to our 21st house on that, so it worked very well. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is that when I saw the Reverend's project, I think that's what he's trying to do, is use this as seed money.
Right.
And if you can get federal dollars, if you could get $250,000, because the town can work with him. And I should point out that both the mayor and town manager came to see us on this project, so they're very interested in it. They like what he's trying to do.
Right.
The only question is, what's the best avenue for doing that? And knowing what I had been able to do there, I felt like a CDBG grant would probably go a lot further with what he wanted to do, because he really needs more seed money. What he's trying to do here is a little different, is he's taking houses that have been condemned and then trying to bring them up to code. Well, as y'all know, sometimes that you may not make a profit, and if you don't, then they stop. Whereas if you do a CDBG, and CDBG does have rehab grants, and the idea would be hopefully to get one that says, if we can do these and then sell them, could we use that as a revolving loan? And so that's why I referred them to Dave Harris to see if they could do something like that. But again, there's nothing to say you couldn't give them the $31,000 plus they could go after the grant.
So they could go after both.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that was a question. That was
But I wanted to give y'all that background because those kinds of things are possible.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, you just answered my question. Excuse me, my voice is not gone today. But, yeah, the rehab of old homes up there can be an expensive proposition, but the key is that since if we put this project on with the other two, it's not going to affect, probably is not going to affect the outcome of whether any of these projects are accepted or not. Is that correct?
Right. The only thing it would do is it would probably cut the allocation by about $15,500 if you split them.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So
okay.
that would be the only impact.
And he's not asking for a ridiculous figure.
He's not.
I mean, he's not. 'Cause, I was with Mr. Wood when he came and Barbara and the mayor came, and he's, I mean, from the beginning, he's not asking for a ridiculous figure. I mean, I'm not saying $31,000 not a lot of money, but I mean, he could have come in with a whole lot higher request.
That's right.
But he was being very, very, very frugal with what he asked for.
And they have a great deal of confidence in him because he's already been involved, I think, with a community food bank, and there was
Yeah.
something else Wayne he was involved with, I
Yeah.
forgot.
I had just one other question. It's not that much money, and a 20% match is not much money. But if this is approved, who is going to do the match from the, or is Dr. Reynolds' group going to do it, or have we thought about
I don't
that?
think they showed a match, so that's
Okay.
up to whether you would want to do that or not.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
But in that case, that would be about $6,000.
But we can cross that bridge when we get there.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Is that it on the
Yes, sir.
unfinished
Does anybody have any other questions on that? The project list, or what they're doing, what they're requesting? I think it's a great opportunity to jumpstart our technology improvements in the schools, which are very badly needed. And I think Dr. Dunsmore has come up with a very good plan on that.
Okay. Consent agenda? Mr. Wood?
The first one is we need to establish a meeting of the Board of Adjustment on December 1, and you've got the information on that in your packet. That's on page 95.
95.
Yeah, why don't you do that, Chip?
Good morning.
What we have is a request for a duplex apartment in the residential agricultural 20 zone. RA 20 is usually a lot size of 20,000 square feet and a single-family type development. But duplexes are allowed as a special use. So this is a vacant lot just north of the Belfast Fire Department on the corner of South Street and 117 North. And the lot previously had two mobile homes on it back in the 80s. They have since been removed and the property has been sold to Mr. Ingram. And he is looking to develop a one-structure unit with two apartments in it. The planning board reviewed it and they saw no issues with it. I think one of the units would have 2 bedrooms and one unit would have to be a 1-bedroom unit. We would need to schedule a Board of Adjustments meeting. That's what issues those permits. We have to post a sign on site, advertise it in the newspaper, and notify the adjoining property owners of the meeting. So that's the request before you.
Chip,
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious to know, how many total rooms that one bedroom's gonna have?
I have not seen a building plan yet, but I think there's an existing septic tank there that will handle 3 bedrooms, so that's why he's gonna. And it has enough, the lot is undersized for the zoning district. The subdivision was established in the 50s, and typically what we do is allow it to be redeveloped, the lot to be redeveloped, as long as it meets the setback requirements. And he has enough area in the lot to build one unit. So that's not an issue there.
Probably some other duplexes in there.
I
think there are.
It's mostly single-family residential. There may be some multiple, I think there's some mobile homes in there as
Yeah,
well.
there are. I know where it is.
Yeah. There were 2 mobile homes on that, and I provided a map that showed those 2. That was in 1980. So I don't see any issues with it myself. Yes, sir.
I did have one question there, and that is, under what zoning classification would duplex be allowed if it's not allowed in RA 20?
It's in a higher density R15. I believe it's in, what I mean, I'll tell you. I believe R15 allows duplexes. That's a higher number of households per acre. When you know, R20 is basically one household to the 20,000 square feet. R15 is one household to the 15,000 square feet. And R15s would allow, actually they're allowed as a special use there as well. R10 is a multifamily dwelling zoning. So if you had an apartment complex or something of that nature, you'd want to probably rezone it to an R10 use. But it is a special use listed under RA 20.
And the planning board did recommend it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chip, the aerial photo you showed this in here, is those property lines, boundary lines, are they correct?
They're pretty close.
The way I look at it, then South Street is, I mean, them, where the property lines in the street, and where the street's at doesn't jive.
It's pretty close. I mean, there may be some error there due to the map was recorded in 1958 and it hasn't been resurveyed.
Yeah, you got the right of way for the road there.
Yeah, you got it's probably 100-foot right of way for US 117.
That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at South Street.
Yeah.
All right, the second map you got shows it correct, but the first, I mean,
Are you
the
talking about
third
the one
one
with
shows
the-
correct, but the first one,
Yeah, yeah.
1980 map
Okay.
doesn't, that's misleading.
It's actually the imagery that is off.
Okay,
That
all right.
technology used in 1980 to capture the
Okay,
imagery.
all right, that clarified that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, move on, Mr. Wood.
Thank you for your expertise.
Yes, sir.
No, you Okay,
This one here.
next thing is we have some applications for disabled veteran property tax exclusions and also present use value. I think all of those are in order. We've reviewed all of them. Alan Lumpkin has reviewed all of them, and I think they're fine. But of course, that's your call as to what you want to do on those. Does anybody have any questions on any of those? You've got the applications there. Okay.
And it's located in Broadman Township on Highway 113 South in Thoroughfare Fire
Okay.
That's which one?
Page 106.
The one from Michael Acog. And we should point out, this is no relation to the chairman.
That's a good idea.
It's real distant.
Yeah.
The chairman of the planning board and the county commissioner
Yeah.
is real distant. And this is not, that Michael is chairman of the planning board.
Okay. Anybody got any questions on any of that? I think those are all in order. The next one is one that we took off the agenda 2 weeks ago. That was a resolution adopting the third amendment to the position classification and pay plan for Wayne County. We had Geraldine look at this. This is the position that provides technical support to Wayne Alley. And what we found, so we've had the position, but what we found is it is too low relative to what other counties are paying that have TV operations like we do. So we're recommending that you take that pay grade from 59 to 62. And behind the memo is the resolution that would do that.
Okay.
The next thing is budget amendments. Ms. Holt, if you'll go over those.
Okay, we have several here. Our first one is for the JET board, and it's just moving funds between line items. Where in the original budget, we had put some money in extra help that really needed to be in our regular salary line item. So we're moving those, decreasing extra help and moving it to regular salaries. The next one is for the JCPC program. And what it is the William Street Youth Movement was in the, originally in our budget, and that program is not, they're going to discontinue that program, and so we are able to move those funds and put them in the Connect 4 restitution, the Teen Court Structure Day, Connect 4, and Wayne County Transition Reentry. So all we're doing is taking them out of one program and assigning them to another. As you'll see, 57 and 58 are doing that. 159 is for the sheriff, and that's for seized property for $17,403.75. 160 is to appropriate insurance refunds for the sheriff's office. 162 is $52,000 to appropriate funds for equipment for the 3 deputies and 1 investigator that y'all previously approved.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Darling.
I did in fact inquire on this, and I want to make sure everyone's aware that even though they've got that classified as uniforms for the 41.5, certainly it's not going to cost $10,000 per employee for uniforms, but it is other equipment that's all inclusive.
Right.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, JCPC is $560 to appropriate a refund for the Structured Day program for 14-15. Then the sheriff, $7,599.25 is controlled substance receipts. And then $13,699 to appropriate funds for the Family Caregiver Program for Services on Aging. Those are all grant funds.
I just wanted to point out that going back to those 4 officers, if you remember, our arrangement with the sheriff was we would pay for to equip the officers, he would pay for the vehicles out of all this seized money. So all kidding aside, he's already recouped one of the vehicles here, because between these 2 for $17,000 and $7,000, we've paid for one of them already. So they're doing a good job. We just need to keep, I've just encouraged him, we got 3 more to go.
That's all the budget amendments.
Okay. New business?
Under new business, you have the request from the University of Mount Olive to be included on Welcome to Wayne County signs. Where we're at on that, I've asked Tommy to do some research on that. We've gotten pictures of all of the welcome signs. He's also meeting with DOT to get cost of what that would take. And what I'm going to recommend to you is, Tommy's not here today, but we have, as one of our goals, as y'all know, is to establish a marketing committee so that we can look at how best to market the county. And we've had some discussion of that in the past. I would recommend we go ahead and move forward with that, appointing that marketing committee. And I would table this until we look at that whole thing, because this is all about marketing the county and its assets. So I don't think it's something that we have to jump out and make a decision on immediately. So I would recommend you table this request, appoint that marketing committee, and then let's come back and part of their recommendation back is, obviously it'll be what do we do to market Wayne County, but they can also handle what you want to do with this request.
And I agree, and just for clarification, the reason that it's even on the agenda today is we didn't want Mount Olive to think that we had just got the request and thrown it away. I mean, but we just, it's something that we've got, like you say, we've got to look into. It's something that we can't act on today but we just want to make sure that, they knew that we got the request and won't just forgetting about it.
Okay.
Is that agreeable? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And just, is this new down?
Yes.
She just walked in as you were
And
speaking.
good timing.
As you were speaking, Mr. Wood, that's what
Okay.
bring your attention to,
Okay.
and she heard your comment, so.
Okay, good,
Mhm.
good.
Thank you.
You add on number 2?
Yeah, and so again, if we would, perhaps later in the meeting or sometime during the week, if the chairman can go ahead and appoint that marketing group to look at all of this. Number 2 is the finance report, and I think you'd rather do that in the open meeting, I believe, so everybody can hear it.
Right.
So that's pretty much it, unless somebody has something we don't have.
Okay. All right, then we have, at 10 o'clock, we have the public comment section. Then we have, we do need to go into closed session, but then at the end of the meeting, county manager's comments, board of commissioners committee reports and comments. I'll go into that a little more in detail at the regular meeting. We do need to have a closed session. Does anyone else have anything that we need to discuss before we go in closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I move we go into closed session for the purpose of
Determining the purchase of property and price and compensation for an employee.
Okay. Just keep in mind now, we do have 2 or 3 things to discuss, so if we don't get through by 9 o'clock, we may have to go back in closed session. Have a motion to go into closed session. All in favor, show by sign of right hand. Motion carried. Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock. Time to conduct the business of Wayne County Board of Commissioners. Would ask if you have cell phones or pagers or any electronic devices, if you would please put them on silence or cut them off. Thank you for your cooperation on that. Invocation, Mr. Camardi.
Bow your heads, please. Almighty God, we come this morning thanking you for a new day. Fed, clothed, and in sound mind and body. Thank you for safe travel, safe environment, and wanting a productive meeting. Help us to respect other opinions and appreciate our differences, and help us understand we who have assembled here are more alike than we are different. Bless those who work to ensure our physical safety. Bless our military who serve in far-off lands while giving comfort to their families. All these things in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, let's stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go we'll have a motion that we approve the minutes of the October 20th,
So moved, Mr.
2015
Chairman.
meeting.
So moved.
Have a motion on the floor, we approve the minutes of October 20th, 2015 meeting. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries. Mr. Wood, do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
The only change is to add under new business number 2, and Ms. Holt will give you the quarterly finance report.
Okay, that's the only adjustment you've got?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any of the commissioners got any adjustments? If not, we'll move on. We got just a minute. The public hearing. We need to wait till 9:15 on that.
Yes.
Let's skip over that for just a minute then, and we'll go to the appointment committee. Mr. Gurley?
Yes, appointment committee met this morning, Mr. Chairman. We'd like to recommend the reappointment of Dr. Alan Harvin and Mr. Ben Falk to the Wayne County Board of Health. I put this in form of a motion.
I have a motion on the floor for Mr. Gurley. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
We'd like to recommend the appointment of Rick Session to the Wayne County Board of Health. I put that in form of a motion.
I have a motion on the floor for Mr. Gurley. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries.
We'd like to recommend the reappointment of Don Sasser and Tim Edwards to the Wayne Executive Jetport Advisory Committee. I'd like to put that in form of a motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Gurley. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous.
And we'd like to recommend the reappointment of John Pippin to the Fremont Planning Board, and I'd like to put that in form of a motion.
I have a motion on the floor from Mr. Gurley. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries.
And we're completed. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got 5 minutes. Can we handle the next item in 5 minutes,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
All right, unfinished business.
Okay. You have in your packet at page 63, the recommendation on the Golden Leaf grant application process. As I said at the earlier meeting, they've divided the state into 8 regions. 2 of those every 4 years are eligible for up to $1.5 million of projects that we could get this grant money for. And what they're wanting, and ours is up this time. We're in the southeast, so this is the year that we're eligible for that. The grants are limited to projects that address economic development, education, workforce development, infrastructure, healthcare infrastructure, and agriculture. And a 20% cash match would help each project to be competitive. The process is that any interested 501c3 nonprofits or governmental agencies are eligible, and they submit a letter of interest in a format set out by Golden Leaf to the county manager's office. The manager is to forward those to Golden Leaf by November 6th, which is this Friday. Those projects the county is recommending for funding. We had set a deadline, I believe, of October 23rd to get those into us. We got 3 applications, and you have those before you to vote on today. And once you select them, then that'll give me 3 days to do a cover letter and send those up to Golden Leaf in Rocky Mount. The first request is from the Reverend Dr. Ira Reynolds of First Missionary Baptist Church of Fremont and the town of Fremont. It is to do housing rehabilitation, and the request is for $31,169. And behind my memo, you have the detailed applications for all 3 of these. The second request is from Dr. Michael Dunsmore, Superintendent of the Wayne County Public School System. His request is to help fund the system's new information technology plan. He shows a 5-year plan, but is only asking for partial funding of $750,000. Please note that the new equipment will qualify for reimbursement under the E-rate for internet services, which is a reduced rate by law that schools are eligible for. So what he's saying is that the savings on the E-rate, once this equipment is installed in all 7 middle schools, can be used to pay for other phases of the IT plan, which will result also in more E-rate savings. And his long-term plan is to get the IT into all of our 7 high schools as well. The third request is from Dr. Kay Albertson, president of Wayne Community College. It's for $750,000 for the Advanced Manufacturing Center for the welding component, but primarily to buy the welding booths and tables, and some funds for facilities upgrades. The total limit is $1.5 million for up to 3 projects, and fortunately, we only got 3 projects in, the request for them. So it appears you have 2 options, and there's variations of one of them. You can fund all 3, but that means either the schools or college request or both would need to be reduced by the $31,169 needed to accommodate the church request. Or you can fund the 2 requests from the schools and the college, which total $1.5 million, and not fund the church request. As I said at the 8 o'clock meeting, the church request falls more really in the line of housing, but it can fall under economic development, and that's the criteria or the category they're going under on that. They also have the possibility of going after a CDBG grant for that to try to establish a revolving loan fund. So with that, Mr. Chairman, it really comes down to how do y'all want to split the $1.5 million? And I just want to reiterate to you is the fact that we select those projects doesn't mean that Golden Leaf will select them. They may select 1, 2, or all 3.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Doherty.
My question is, if we make a motion to fund all 3 and reduce the school and the community college by the $31,169, and they do not approve the $31,169, will they reinstate that back to the other 2?
They might.
They might.
We have heard instances where they like the project so well that if they had additional money, that they would grant it to them. Because as I said to you before, this letter of interest is to explain your project. If they like the project, they select it for round 2, and round 2 is when the applicant will be invited to come to Rocky Mount to their offices and make a presentation to their board. And at that point, those kinds of decisions would be made. So, they might limit it to what you requested. They might go a little further.
Okay.
But we did, in talking with them, hear of instances where they have said, we really like this, you should put in for more money. Well, you don't have to tell school people that but once. So,
Mr. Marty.
I was just wondering if you're ready for a motion.
Yes.
Are we ready for a motion? Are there any other questions?
I just got one question. If and I don't know what the motion is going to be, but if we make a motion for all 3, is the smaller one going to jeopardize losing one of the other ones completely?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
I don't think, because each one is going to stand on its own merits.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Mr. Camardi.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that we accept all 3 to be forwarded and reduce Wayne Community College and the Wayne County Public Schools by an equal amount to designate $31,000 plus, so that all 3 can be sent forward.
I have is that a form of
That's
motion?
form of motion.
I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimous. All right, it is 9:15. We have a public hearing scheduled for 9:15. Wayne County Incentive Grant Policy Resolution and Agreement for an Existing Industry.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Doherty.
I move that we continue the public hearing until our next meeting on November the 17th at 9:15.
have a motion on the floor that we continue this public hearing until our next meeting. Any discussion? Do we need to clarify that, or just move on? Okay. All right. Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Like I say, any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries. Consent agenda, Mr. Wood.
Mr. Chairman, you need to establish a meeting of the Wayne County Board of Adjustment for December 1. Mr. Crumpler's gone over that with you, the need for that meeting. We have some applications from disabled veterans for property tax exclusion, and also an application for present use value. Then you have a resolution adopting the Third Amendment to the Position Classification and Pay Plan, and that is to change the pay grade on the technician position that assists Wayne Alley in our television operation. And then lastly, you have the budget amendments, which Ms. Holt went over with you at the 8 o'clock briefing.
Okay. Pleasure to board on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion on the floor. We approve the consent agenda. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Darby.
I want to point out again for everyone looking at those budget amendments that on the, let me find it. There you go, okay. On Budget Amendment 162, the 41.5 indicated as under uniforms does in fact include other things other than uniforms. It's in essence equipping the officers, the 4 officers that are being hired.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor of the consent agenda, show sign of right hand. Motion carries now. New business. Request from the University of Mount Olive to be included on welcome signs to, or welcome to Wayne County signs. We did get a request from Mount Olive University for this request. In discussion that one-on-one with some of the other commissioners, we feel like that we need, and Mr. Burns, our assistant county manager, which is not here today, we're in the process of getting with DOT to see what their requirements are, and so we're going to appoint a committee or group, sorry about that, a group of commissioners or individuals to look into this. Mr. Wood, do you have anything else to add to that?
I just wanted to say that that group would be looking at our marketing overall for the county, and so this would tie into that, and they'll make a recommendation on this as well.
Right, okay. But I think our main point is that we got the request from Mount Olive. We want to make sure that Mount Olive didn't think that we had just,
Right.
laid it aside. We are going to actively look at this, and their request is legit, but we also got to look at what the cost is, what DOT requirements are, and possibly what other signage that would be,
Right.
permissible and what we can do.
And I will say that counties differ on this. Some may put them on, others, I think Tommy indicated that in Harnett County, Campbell University paid the county to add them. So we're looking into the cost, we'll see what that is. But really, it should be part of the overall marketing plan.
Right.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Gary.
when you appoint this working group, could I ask you to consider placing somebody from University of Mount Olive on this marketing group?
By all means. I mean, this is marketed in Wayne County. This is, they just happen to make the first request. Right. And certainly they'll be involved, the college will be involved. Yeah, all of our larger agencies in the county will be involved. I mean, the cities, not only Mount Olive, but, Fremont, Goldsboro, everybody will be involved on this tourism committee. What's the pleasure of the board?
What you said?
I thought you had decided you were gonna appoint.
Well, I
Ms.
have,
Woodward.
but Marcia's got it highlighted, and that, and when she highlights it, it's a board action.
Mr.
I mean, that's
Chairman,
my recommendation. Now, you want me to put that in form of a motion?
please do.
Okay, I put in a form of motion that we're gonna get appoint a, travel and tourism group, and that all, marketing for the county, and that, all sections of the county will be included on that committee. I put that in the form of a motion. Any other discussion or clarification? If none, all in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries.
Say if Marcia highlights it in yellow, we better act.
If she highlights it in yellow, somebody's gonna act on it. I'm not going back there to her office to get this.
Okay.
Number 2, Mr. Wood, Ms. Hope, if you would.
Now, if you go ahead.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm pleased to present the financial report for the period ending September 30th, 2015. This report is based on the first 3 months of the 15-16 fiscal year, or 25% of the fiscal year. The report details cash, the revised budget, the actual revenues or expenditures, and the percentage of actual to budget, comparing the same period last year to the same period this year. The cash invested for the county of $196. The loan proceeds for the Grantham and Spring Creek middle schools have been exhausted at this point. So what I'm telling you is the county put in, we borrowed the $38,452,000 for this project. The county put in cash funds, the schools put in cash funds. The project has not been totally paid out, but it's almost complete. And so at this point, we are using the cash funds. We have used all the loan proceeds at this point. So that's why you see some loan proceeds on the September 24th column, September 2014 column, and 0 on the September 2015 column, because those loan proceeds have been exhausted.
Could I ask a question on that?
Yes.
That $38 million that was borrowed did include some upfitting of those schools as well, did it not?
I think ours was for the construction. They're
Yes.
doing money for the upfit.
Okay, so they're,
It's all part of the budget. We have brought, some budget amendments where we have transferred money, sales tax money, some of the county money and all that. So, it's all budgeted at this point.
okay.
Now, while I am talking about the cash there, I do want to point out that, as you'll notice, the cash is just a little more right now than it was the same period last year. But now you will see in the next several months or before the end of the fiscal year, the cash drop. Because we have started the jail project, which is, being built with cash. So you're going to see some of the cash drop. And also there's some of the cash that is now part of those renovation projects with the schools. That was some of the sales tax, and that cash was on so you will begin to see your cash drop a little bit. The next section on this report is the general fund revenues and expenditure. The general fund is the fund that includes the calculation we speak of when we refer to our fund balance. As of September 30th, 2015, the expenditures exceeded the revenues by $4,886,705.92, as compared to expenditures over revenues for September 30th, 2014 of a negative $14,488,102.13. Now I'm giving you good news. Last year we were in the hole negative $14 million. This year we're in the hole, as of September, negative $4 million. When I was before you last year at this same time, I was having to explain just the opposite. Why we were an extra $10 million in the hole last year. Well, we flipped, and so what I'm actually doing is saying, now these projects have, this change was in last fiscal year, so we're back to where we were 2 years ago. But I am going to kind of go over the explanation. You did ask that I give you a narrative on the last time I presented the financials. That is the legal sheet you have right there. And so this is kind of getting down to the major portions of what the difference is in those two numbers. The difference in the 2 years relates mainly to the school projects that were in the beginning phases in the 14-15 fiscal year. As you can tell, there's $9,601,396 difference. Last year, 1.1 million additional was transferred from the sales tax fund, which was a general fund, to Fund 487, which is the Grantham and Spring Creek project. 6.186 million additional was transferred from sales tax to fund the renovation projects last year. So we were moving that out. 1.9 additional was transferred from the school's capital maintenance fund to the Grantham and Spring Creek projects. We have collected $655,876 additional tax revenues as compared to last year at this time. Gross sales tax collections have increased $576,000. And so that's all adding up into savings. Now, to the negative part of it is debt payments have increased $913,966.92. That's because our first debt payment on the Grantham and Spring Creek schools happened in August of 2015. To take that apart a little bit for you, so you're saying why the additional cost, that is the county cost. And so our additional principal payment, our first principal payment on the $38 million was $1,923,000. The additional interest payment was $682,523. Supporting that total cost was $234,334 of lottery funds we drew down. And the school supported it with $1,457,222 of sales tax, leaving the county cost on that first principal and interest payment of $913,966.
Excuse me, have we got a copy of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's right there on the-
It's your legal pad.
Last page.
Okay, let me go back over here and see it. Okay, okay.
I have a question, is it, can I ask a question now?
Sure.
Okay. So, after 2016, our payments to the schools will drop by how much?
I don't have those in front of me. I
Okay, because didn't we say that the highest,
yes.
payment was gonna be the first year? on
It
the
decreases
tax
every year.
Yeah,
And,
because it's level principal payment.
Yes,
So the interest cost will go down every year, because next year you won't pay interest on the $1,923,000 that you've paid this year.
yeah. I know we talked about a figure that it may be less
it will.
in
It will go
coming
down
years,
every
but
year.
I can't remember what that figure was. Did we discuss something?
It'll change every year, won't it?
It'll change every year.
It's based on the
but
amortization
if-
schedule.
If you look in your budget in the back,
Yeah,
under the appendix, you have a debt service schedule there.
that's where I saw
And
it.
if you'll look at there, Ray, it'll show you how
Okay.
it's going down.
Got it, okay, thank you.
And if I can clarify that a little bit, we basically, from the county standpoint, had committed $750 is what we were gonna pay, but in the first years, it was gonna be greater, and
Yes.
in the lesser years, it'll be less, but it'll average out to be $750,000 per year over that 20-year span.
Yeah, because they committed, I think it was
2.2.
2.2 million.
Right.
And you made up the difference, and
Right.
you're right. We decided that we would do more on the front end, but it's less over the 20-year life of the bond than if we did it the other way.
Okay, all right.
Okay, let's look at some of the tax revenues. Current taxes collected through 9/30/15 for this year are $6,334,188.57. If you'll see, it's compared to $5,516,032.25 last year. That is just timing. Depends on if people pay ahead or don't. So, we really can't compare that at this point. I will tell you one penny equals $694,411 for real estate taxes, and your vehicles equal $88,000, totaling $782,000 for one penny. We have collected $376,204 in delinquent taxes. We've collected vehicle taxes of $1,522,338. We are collecting a little more at this time on vehicles. The more the state is collecting it up front, the higher it goes. Now, on the next one, on the delinquent vehicle, you'll see that goes down. Last year, we had $164,591, and this year we have $13,268. That's because those old delinquent vehicles are falling off. If you will notice, we did, Mr. Wood and I did, in the original budget, drop the budget. We had budgeted $250,000 last year. We've only budgeted $20,000 this year, so that is going ahead as we predicted. The next part is your sales tax. Collections for July through September this year total $4,848,733.05 compared to $4,273,193 for the same period last year, an increase of $576,539. That's a big woohoo. But I did receive, right during the break between the 8 and 9 o'clock meeting, I got a notice from the state of North Carolina. This is the second month in a row that the sales taxes come in less. And they said it is mainly due to consumer confidence. As you know, we collect the sales tax if you buy in the store, say in July, we don't get the tax in here on the cash basis until October. So our last 2 months, the gross sales tax has come in here, has dropped. So right now, it's looking great. It's like a 13% increase over last year. But at the next quarter, as you'll hear, I think the increase will be a little bit less. It'll still be an increase, but your percentage is going to drop. Okay, let's go to selected expenditures on your second page of your financials. Services on aging, revenues are at 23.19% and expenditures are at 14%. And that is just because they're collecting some of their grant funds from last year in this fiscal year. Public assistance, revenues are at 29% and expenditures are at 25%. And I just wanted to say that is with the Northwoods project going on, so I'm real pleased with those numbers. Public health revenues are at 20% and expenditures are at 29%. I wanted to talk about this just a little bit, so if you'll look on your legal sheet, your narrative. On number 2, the health department is still waiting for reimbursement from the Division of Medical Assistance for services rendered in prior years. The Medicaid cost settlement is a cost study reimbursement model that provides additional payment to local health departments for Medicaid services rendered where our cost is greater than our initial reimbursement. Amounts due Wayne County Health Department from the Division of Medical Assistance, and this is as of 10/31. I did update this. The 11-12 settlement, $84,967 is what we had anticipated receiving. We have received notice on a desk audit that we're getting $121, so we're expecting that any time. The 12-13 settlement, $110,000, and that is pending completion of the desk audit right now. 13-14, this is where we kind of get into our big numbers. In the 13-14 fiscal year, we budgeted, and that's just a budgeted number, that's an estimate, that we would get $850,952. We hadn't received any of that, so that's the 100% mark. Not only had they not held back 10%, they've held back the whole 100%. And then in the 14-15 settlement, which we budgeted for in this fiscal year, of course, we hadn't received any of that yet either. So we are out there, needing some funds still on this cost settlement.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayor, in reference to that on the health department, I know our legislatures have been contacted about this situation to see if we can find out, what the holdup is, because being on the health board, this is really critical to our operating on the health board. So, just as a matter of, it's being looked into, from my understanding. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this level of tardiness on it is ridiculous.
It's unacceptable. Yeah.
I mean, they've just got to do a desk audit and get it back to us, but and it's going to cross the state.
Welcome to big government.
Emergency telephone. Revenues are at 13.92% and expenditures are at 16.65%. Just to remind you, these are the funds that are restricted by the 911 board, and so we have been spending down our fund balance a little bit. And because of that, we've gotten a little more money this year from them. The higher your fund balance is, the less they give you, so we are getting just a little bit more this year. EMS and EMS net. In the budget for the 15-16 year, those two departments have been combined. Before this fiscal year, we split them, so I have combined them for comparison purposes also. Revenues are at $2.5 million, expenditures are at $1.6 million. On your narrative, I did talk about that a little bit. That is because we have received, as of September 30th, we had received those debt proceeds. The EMS got 4 ambulances and a 1 remount that was $618,000, and 5 cardiac mount monitors at $167,000. They got radios that totaled $85,000. So the revenues right now are in these figures, and we have not paid for all the equipment as of 9/30. So that's the difference in the revenues and expenditures. Solid waste revenues at are $1,052,000 and expenditures $1,037,000. Sewer revenues total $87,000 and expenditures $108,803. The sewer fund, we are still. Mr. Wood, do you want to talk about?
Yeah,
sewer?
we've gotten quotes on the monitors now, and so we'll be meeting with the Facilities Committee shortly. And when we do that, then we'll get into the deployment of those. The sewer meters should identify where we have I&I, and we'll be recouping those costs from the people who are putting that into our system. And then it's up to them to fix the problems on the other side of the meter as they come into our system. But I believe we have, it's either 6 or 8 contact points. So we're going to have to put either 6 or 8 of these sewer meters in place. But Kendall's working on that, and we'll need to have another Facilities Committee here shortly in order to move forward with that.
Airport revenues are at 14% and expenditures are at 7%. And that is, one reason for that is just because we bought some fuel inventory forward. The Workers' Comp Self-Insurance Fund has a cash balance of $1,476,000. The Hospitalization Fund has a cash balance of $1,455,000. And to report on certain capital projects you have going, and these figures were as of September 30th. The total spent on the new jail was $31,000. We are currently paying bills and on the new jail, and if you ride down William Street, you can see a lot of progress going on. The total spent on the Grantham and Spring Creek schools is $41,146,000. The total spent on the central attendance Spring Creek and Charles B. Aycock is $7,221,000, and the total spent on the Ag Center is $346,000.
Any more questions from Ms. Hope?
A lot of information.
Thank you. What's the pleasure on the board accepting her report?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion on the floor that we accept Ms. Holt's presentation. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries. We've got about 20 minutes before public comment. We've been moving to the county manager's report.
All right, I have just a few comments. Number one is, as y'all recall, we have an opportunity to get 2 USDA loans for the the Agricultural and Convention Center. And the reason that it's 2 is they've split them up, one for the Agricultural Center, one for the Convention Center. We had already sent off the application probably about 45 days ago. We're working with Tri-County EMC and the EMC folks out of Raleigh on this application, and the Ferguson Group, who they hired to do these. But we had to provide them with quite a bit of extensive information on it. So we did the agricultural one about 45 days ago. Now they wanted to do the second one, which is the convention center. And so we completed all of that Friday and got that up to them. Now we just have to hear about it. I think it's January or February we hear on this. With that, they also, with each one, there's a possibility of a $300,000 grant. So we could get a total of $600,000 worth of grants with this. So this process could be worth up to $2.6 million for us. So this was a big part of the funding for that center, and we're moving forward with that. So we've done everything we're supposed to do on it now. We're working on the street assessment policy. I should have that to you by the November 17th meeting. We also, yesterday, had a meeting dealing with this construction manager at risk possibility, and we'll be discussing that further. But it was an excellent meeting. We had a gentleman in from who is over all of the construction at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Not 17 institutions, but just the campus at Chapel Hill, which is big enough. I've met with the city manager and the WCDA president. We're working on the contract for the infrastructure in a new industrial park, how we're going to split that, who's going to pay what. So that is underway. We had a very good meeting this week on that. And then finally, I just wanted to remind you, but you've already done it, and that is we need to establish this marketing committee. But that's the one you talked about today. And I think with that, Mr. Chairman, that's the main things we've been working on.
Could we have an update on, y'all had a meeting yesterday about possibly internet access? Do you need to even mention it, or just?
I don't know, I think we're really too early in the stage of this to really.
It was an excellent meeting.
It was a good meeting.
Yeah, well, I just wanted the public to know that that y'all are working on it.
Yeah, there's some ideas we're gonna be looking at. I'm jumping in here.
Yeah, you go ahead.
We recognize that there are issues that there are parts of the county that do not have internet access, and especially with kids using iPads now to do homework, it's kind of difficult to do your homework at night if you don't have internet access.
Right.
So, like I say, we want to make sure that everybody knows that we understand the problem, and we're working on it,
Right.
and we'll get back to you on it, because we
Okay,
just
well,
had the first meeting. It was very positive, and we're putting together some ideas.
Well,
And Joe, you can jump in.
my purpose was, and in bringing it up was, we've had a lot of inquiries from parts of the county, and I just want the general public to know that, that there is a working group that is working on it.
Yeah, and there's this guy works for a state agency that basically comes in and helps counties and cities do this. He's extremely knowledgeable, and we're pretty much going to follow the model, or I think we're talking about following the model that he's used in other counties, and it seems to have had some success there.
And if I would, so that expectations don't get too high here, municipalities and counties are restricted that we cannot provide that service. That's one. This law will not allow us to do that. So really, we are having to develop a plan that will allow us to encourage the private sector of making those investments. So but it has been successful in other counties, and so we're starting the process here.
Is that all your report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's 1:45, let's take a 10-minute break, and that should give us time to come back and, for our 10 o'clock public comment section. Thank everyone for your patience. It is 10 o'clock, time for our public comment section. For the general public, you are allowed 4 minutes for your comments. We'd like for you to give your name, address, and phone number, And also, I want to stress again, as I stressed last meeting, you're certainly welcome to make any comments or whatever, but we're going to refrain from singling out individuals, whether they are citizens of Wayne County or elected officials. If you want to say comments of a group or anything, or organization, that's fine, but if you start singling out individual citizens of Wayne County or elected officials of Wayne County, I'm going to ask the sheriff to escort you out of the room. Public comment section is now open. If anyone has any comments, please come forward and state your name, address, and phone number, and you're allotted 4 minutes. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners and
Good morning.
Wayne County. My name is Constance Corum. I reside at 506 Cardinal Drive, Goldsboro. My telephone number is 919-583-0959. Today is Election Day. And whenever I look at the newspaper and I hear the results of the numbers that have voted today, I implore you, Wayne County, and Goldsboro, and the surrounding communities, to please go out and vote. This is a very crucial time. It is not the time when the president is elected that is most important. It is when we are deciding upon our commissioners, our county councilmen, whether or not the coal ash is going to be taken care of, whether or not the school system, if you look at the papers, you see that our school system is in a bad shape. We have bad water. We have community, I know I should have had my paper, and forgive me, but I wanted to be able to speak from my heart today and say, with all the things that are going on in this county, it is time for us to take a stand and do something. It is time out for yesterday. It is time out for us to pretend that these things are not affecting us. Because I live in one zip code does not mean that I don't have the right as others. I was in a meeting last month and I did not receive due process. What we need to do in this county is be concerned about who are representing us in this county. There's a work to be done because it does not affect your unemployment, your disability, your comfort zone. It is time for us as a community to get out, and as the Lord, help me, Lord, as the candidate who's running for mayor is saying, it's time out for more restaurants. It's time to get some jobs in here. It is time for this county to wake up and see that a change is needed. It is time for everybody to stop taking a back seat and say, this does not involve me. This involves you. It is a shame that we have over 35,000 people in this community and less than 1,000 people have been out to vote. I will no longer sit back and do nothing. I am going to be one of those people who get out and try to make a change. If you need a ride to the polls, you call me. I've already given you my telephone number. I'm in the directory. And because I am not going to sit here and do nothing, I am going to put my name on the ballot again. It might be said that you don't like me. It might be said that I think I'm cute. It might be said that I talk proper. But I am not going to sit here in a seat of do nothing. I ask that this county support me and go out and vote today. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Tom Drew, P.O. Box. Let me give you.
Thank you, sir.
Give the rest of them. Hopefully I got enough copies for everyone. That's the email sent 4:26 yesterday p.m. from Johnson Community College. Extraordinary efforts being banned arbitrarily, capriciously, and from the Wayne Community College. Curious if that legal decision had the benefit of Borden Parker's legal counsel. And that is the matter within this matter. First, I would ask Officer Davenport, what do you recognize, what supersedes any order a civilian or military peace officer receives from a superior?
Mr. Drew, this is a public comment section.
Well, I need to make sure he's qualified to wear that badge, because unfortunately, too many peace officers lately do not have an answer to that question. And it is the Constitution. And he should have readily answered it before I got done asking it. And because the chairman has challenged my free speech issues previously and again today. As I say, if you can't ask a candidate a question before the election, forget it afterwards. Though there are two questions today during this commissioner meeting, as I addressed in this letter, being that the 2014 elections, I recognize, are still contested by an amended appeal process, of which there are major glitches in the general statutes that one could proceed with that appeal. That was known November 21st of 2014. I made the County Board of Elections aware of that reality that day, as well as the State Board, both verbally, taped, and in writing, and matters have progressed and progressed. No reply, of the status of that reality, and the last two people to check with in regards to that reality, as I stated in this letter, within Wayne County before securing the North Carolina General Legislative Oversight Committee on Elections to intercede, and or Thomas G. Walker, U.S. Attorney, to intercede, is to ask Borden Parker as Chief Legal Counsel to both the Commissioner, County, and Board of Elections, and Commissioner John Bell, are you aware that the elections are still contested due to a glitch where one could file an amended election protest? That effort has been impeded. Or either aware or wish to remain silent. And in the course of this event, has the County Board of Elections or the State Board of Elections sought your legal counsel, Borden Parker, into this matter? In light of the silence, I do recognize to welcome the North Carolina Legislative Elections Oversight Committee to intercede at this point on this most exigent of matters. The life and death issues elections decide. Whether these troops get this mental health care that they sorely deserve and need. I see the root of the problem in our fundamentally flawed electoral due process. And that we can elect the best and brightest to lead us through these most exigent of times. If anybody can prove me wrong for using that word exigent, I'll debate them anytime, any place, anywhere. I've used it since May of '07. Thus far, no one has challenged it. It means the highest level of urgency when many, many lives are at risk. It reads out exigent status of the finest medicine on earth, and that is democracy.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Drew. Anyone else?
Charles Wright, representing Wayne County Citizens for Better Schools, Goldsboro, North Carolina, 919-273-2099. Good morning, Wayne County Commissioners. Wayne County Citizens for Better Schools come before you to request you thoroughly review your policies concerning or relating to the role of the resource officer in Wayne County Public Schools. We respectfully request the Commissioners provide us copies of these policies, any letters of agreement or memorandums of understanding, and all other public documents relating to the school resource officer. Wayne County Citizens for Better Schools, School Board, Superintendent, School Staff, Wayne County Board of Commissioners, Wayne County Manager, Wayne County Sheriff, Goldsboro City Council, Goldsboro Chief of Police, all resource officers, and all law enforcement personnel, students, parents, and the general public are all on the same page. That policies are uniform, transparent, legally sufficient, easily accessible, and easily understood. If gray areas exist, let us identify them, correct them, and eliminate them. We do not want situations whereas a 6-year-old is placed with handcuffs and arrested at one school, where another 6-year-old are receiving time out at another school for the same exhibited behavior. Our expectations are no 6-year-old are arrested. Our goal, behaviors rising to the level necessitating criminal arrest become so rare in our schools as not to require the presence of school resource officers. All of the above mentioned governmental agencies will also, or let me rephrase that, all of the above mentioned government agencies have received a similar presentation and request office. In addition, both Goldsboro City Council and Wayne County Commissioners will be strongly encouraged to seek Commission of Law Enforcement certification known as CALEA, which includes certified and nationally accepted best practices, policies, and models concerning school resource officers and law enforcement responses to different types of school campus events. We will be grateful to receive copies of the information requested and/or explanation if these documents or information don't exist within Wayne County within 10 days. Wayne County Citizens for Better Schools appreciate your help and concern. We are always available for assistance. Thanking you, respectfully, Charles Wright, President, Wayne County Citizens for Better Schools. And I know it's not customary, but as I always like to ask the county commissioners, if you have any comments or questions, I'll be glad to answer them at this point. I just want to point out, though, that this is not an indictment against our law enforcement personnel. Following the briefing at our Wayne County School Board, one school board member felt it was necessary to say how he supports law enforcement, how he loves the police and school resource officers. It's not our intent to be disparaging, but just to say, let's look at things as they are now. Let's review it and just see if we are at the spot where we want to be for all of our kids. I thank you for your time. If there's not any questions.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Wright. The county manager will get with the sheriff, and if there's any thing that, you know, we'll let the county manager and the sheriff handle it. But thank you for your comments.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm sorry to bother you. Dennis Lewis, 786 Perkins Road, Pikeville, North Carolina, 919-580-7417. I'm here representing Hale Artificial Fireworks. It has a Eastern Operations Division, which I'm in charge of. Recently, we were contacted by Mount Olive College. They're having their 50th Pickle Classic, and they wanted a fireworks display to be held afterwards on November 21st. I am required by law, state law, to get the county commissioner's permission before I can shoot that display. The permitting process goes through the town of Mount Olive. The inspection is by the Mount Olive Fire Department, and I pay the fee to the town of Mount Olive. I have here the information that I have sent to Mount Olive, and I'll give that to your attorney. It is our application, it is our site plan, it is our certificate of insurance, and it is the product that we will, a list of the product that we will be shooting. I do not have our federal license because the ATF is behind on their endeavor to update new license every 3 years. A letter of continuation from ATF was faxed to the county manager's office this morning. Should be there when he gets back. Likewise, it has been faxed to the town of Mount Olive. We have also named additional insured County of Wayne and town of Mount Olive. So this is a request to conduct that pyrotechnics display. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Wood, can you get with
Yeah, I was going to
Mr. Parker
suggest that
or
you go
Charles
ahead
Brown?
and approve it, subject to the approval of the fire marshal, and we'll run it by him, make sure everything's fine. It sounds like it's all in order.
Mr. Chairman, I so move that we approve it subject to the approval of the fire marshal.
Because he's on a tight deadline. Did you say they want to shoot it when, the 21st?
We do have a meeting the 17th, but that
Right,
still
that
be
wouldn't give
cutting
him
it.
much time.
Yeah.
So I think if you do this motion, if everything checks out fine, which it looks like it will, then he'd be fine to go.
I have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries unanimously. Anyone else have any public comments?
Good morning, everyone. I am Sylvia Barnes. I live at 1708 Laurel Street, Goldsboro, North Carolina. My phone number is 919-273-3632. I am here this morning to invite you all to come to a symposium that will be held at the First Missionary Baptist Church on Goldsboro Street in the town of Fremont, North Carolina. What this Dr. Tim Tyson from the Duke University Historical Society will be doing an update on the 1898 Wilmington race riot that took place in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I'm sure that all of you all are familiar with the story of the, well, I shouldn't say story, but with the actual events that took place during the 1898 Wilmington race riot. And of the concern that some of the citizens in Wayne County have was that the part that Governor Charles B. Aycock played in that Wilmington in that riot that took place. So we invite you to come out. If you have not read that newspaper where it came out in 2007, I encourage you to go online and read that. But please come out and join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barnes, for your comments. Anyone else have any comments? Anyone else have any comments? If not, the public comment session is closed. Thank you for all the comments from the individuals and the citizens of Wayne County. Do I have a motion to go back in closed session?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is that, I mean, we come back to the commissioners.
Right.
Have a motion on the floor, we'll go back in closed session. All in favor? Right hand.
Mr. Chairman, if I could ask, how long are we expected to be in closed session?
Probably till at least 11, and then you've got,
And if we're gonna go, look at a facility, will we still be in closed session then? Or we will? We will.
can be. So I would say 1 o'clock.
Well, and I just want to make sure, because we actually would be in closed session during that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And also, you know, for the people that want to hang around, we don't want them just sitting here wondering when we're gonna get back, but this is gonna be a lengthy closed session.
Okay, that's what I was trying to
And,
make.
you know, just out of courtesy for the audience, you know, it's gonna probably be 1 o'clock before we get back.
The closed session is? Same as it was this morning, they're continuing that, to determine whether or not acquire property and to determine compensation for employment.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Mayor, could I just ask that, since I may have to leave because I have laryngitis, could I just do one comment before we go in closed session?
I don't have any objections, the rest of the board does.
I just wanted to, in case I have to leave because I've got laryngitis and I stayed home all day yesterday, I want to remind everybody that this week is National Apprenticeship Week, November 2nd through the 6th. And tomorrow we're having an event here in Wayne County at Lane Tree as part of a nationwide events that are happening across the nation. Our president has jobs in mind and a special apprenticeship program. This is the first year our president instituted this, President Obama. This is the first year that we've had a National Apprenticeship Program Week. Now, the governor came out yesterday with a news release and said that November 2nd through the 6th was also North Carolina State Apprenticeship Week, which is fine. So I wanted to let you know that this is National Apprenticeship Week. We have a get together tomorrow morning at Lane Street at 8 o'clock. We're going to have people here from the North Carolina Apprenticeship Council to speak. And so I just want us to understand, and what I'm doing is I'm piggybacking on what you said, ma'am, is that it's time for us to start producing some jobs and putting some people to work, and apprenticeships is the way to do it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Before we go out, Mr. Wood, I don't know, this is Pastor Reynolds on the back row, and I didn't know whether or not you had a chance to talk with him or not, to let him know about the gold leaf. Did you?
I did.
Okay.
I told him you approved it.
Right.
If we hadn't approved it, he would have probably had comments at 10 o'clock. We are back in session. We voted to go out of closed session and went to McCall's for lunch. We're back in open session. What's the next item of business?
Do y'all want to do your comments, or do you want to add the two things?
Yeah, we're waiting on Mr. Gurley here.
Yeah, we discussed the Sasser hangar at the jet port.
Yeah. So if y'all want to make a motion on that.
Okay, I'll go, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Gurley.
I move to purchase the Sasser hangar at the jet port for $100,000, provide the owner fix the ceiling, and to provide budget amendment number 168 to fund this project.
I have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor show sign of right hand. Motion carries.
Yes, let's do the other one now.
Thank you.
This is another potential item, if y'all wish to vote on it.
Is Is this saying that we are going to?
Right, you would need a motion authorizing the purchase and then the attendant budget amendment, just like Joe did on the other.
Are we far enough along on this to act on this?
I think so, because you still have your due diligence period, so if we find.
So we still can get out?
That's right.
Okay, just as long as we got an out until.
Right. With the due diligence, we have the out till the 16th, right?
What are the, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, if I could ask, what are the conditions whereby we could withdraw from the contract?
Contract, I've never seen one quite like it. It says that in the 16th, up until the 16th, you can withdraw, period, and get your earnest money back.
And that would give us time to do all the things that we want to
That's
do
right.
on the
And
bill.
we don't meet again till the 17th, so if we're gonna do it, I think we need to do it today. But you're not bound by it. If you decide that it doesn't work for whatever reason, we can walk away.
For whatever reason.
Mhm.
And can you poll the other members prior to the 16th to? No, cannot do that.
You have to meet.
We'd have to have another meeting.
Special.
So if we vote on this, short of having another meeting, then it would probably, it then would go right on through.
Right. Well, we would come back to you from staff if we get into this and find out it doesn't work for whatever reason.
And we would need to have, what, 48 hours notice, is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, we have a meeting with the city at 2 today with some of their folks and also the architect to go over some of this. And they've already been communicating by phone.
And other options may be discussed in the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pleasure of the board.
I wish we had another 2 weeks. But I don't like the fact that the contract was written on the 16th with us meeting on the 17th. It looked like they'd have put that on the 18th to give us plenty of time to have another meeting. I would have preferred it that way. But we are under that contract.
Yeah, and she was going by the number of days in the due diligence period is what she was doing on that. But again, we can get out.
Is it possible that we can get an extension on that
Well,
time?
the contract we signed says the 16th. But I mean, we can get out of it at any time.
Let's do it contingent upon final seating, architectural approvals and stuff like that.
Formulate a motion, give it to us.
Motion to approve budget number 161, transfer of money from capital projects for 911 Center, contingent upon meetings with the City of Goldsboro, staff, and architectural firm to ensure that the site will be a feasible site for 911 Center,
And to purchase the building.
and to purchase the building.
You put that in form of a motion.
In motion.
I have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? Did you have something, Mr. Moore?
No,
Okay,
mine was
all right.
relative to something already been discussed.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion? All in favor, show sign of right hand. Motion carries. Is that all of the other items that we need to take care of?
I believe so.
One other, if you're going to buy it, Georgia and I believe that it needs to be surveyed.
Absolutely.
And you need to do that. Need to get that started now while you're making your decision, so you might be after that number. I don't think the survey
Sure.
will be that.
Do we need to put that in form of a motion?
So we'll go into this.
What he said.
I'd like to put a motion on the floor that the property be surveyed in a judicious manner. ASAP.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Commissioners, committee reports and comments. Mr. Gurley.
No report today, sir.
Mr. Darty.
No report today.
Mr. Camardi.
None.
Mr. Pate.
None today, sir, thank you.
Mr. Bell.
No, I don't have no report because I was out sick during that time, but I would like to thank all of the commissioners for calling me during my illness, especially Commissioner Joe Doyle. He called me crying. He thought I was... But I assured him that I was going to be okay, and he felt okay after that. So thank you guys again.
Okay. I really don't have any comments. I just want to remind the public that today is election day. If you're watching us, please go vote. Have that some countries don't have, so please go exercise your right to vote. And also, let's don't forget next Monday the ceremony out on Long's Platform Road for the Eastern Carolina Veteran Cemetery. I think that's going to be a great asset to Wayne County. That's all I have. And Veterans Day Parade on the 11th. Okay. Anyone else have anything?
We're gonna give you a letter we got. We don't need to go over it, I just want you to have a copy of it.
Okay. Can we go ahead and...
We can adjourn, can't we? Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion on the floor, we adjourn.
This has been a presentation by Wayne Goldsboro Television of the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. Wayne County Commissioners meet the first and third Tuesday of each month in the Commissioners' Meeting Room on the 4th floor of the Wayne County Courthouse at 224 East Walnut Street in Goldsboro, North Carolina. For more information, the County of Wayne is online at www.waynegov.com. The mailing address is Post Office Box 227, Goldsboro, North Carolina 27533. Thank you for watching.